In episode 35 of the Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer Livestream podcast, George and I are discussing why it's so important that you keep the appointments that you have. So if you're out there and you've been injured at work, you are waiting forever to get a doctor's appointment and then you don't go, that can have repercussions on your workers' compensation benefits. We want you to listen to this short discussion that George and I have put together in order to broaden your perspective, understand why it's so important. But if you do have further questions, we encourage you to dial the injury helpline at 844-984-8414. So with that said, George, let's get into it. How can missing appointments, what is the importance of appointments for a workers' compensation claim in California?
Well, first off, let's start with the first problem about missing appointments. Once again, you discuss how hard it is to get one. Now you have an appointment. Maybe you don't miss your first one. Maybe you miss your second or third one, and you go to a couple and then you stop going. The problem that can cause is continuity of your claim, okay? First of all, with treatment, doctors are giving treatment and they expect to see you at the next appointment to see if that treatment's working or if it's not, and they might change your treatment. So treatment is the first part. Your medical treatment could be affected. Your injuries could take longer to heal if you don't have that continuity, and that plan is in place for a reason and you're not following that plan. It could have repercussions. But let's talk about the people that have temporary disability benefits coming to them because of these appointments. You could be one of those people that you're getting paid temporary disability benefits while you are off of work, and your doctor is certifying that. Your doctor is justifying that with their medical reports. He's explaining why you can't come to work and why you deserve those benefits. Now, if you don't go to your doctor's appointments, he can't give you that report. He can't give you that work status showing why you can't come to work and you should be receiving those benefits. Now, he can schedule you for a new appointment, but that could take some time, and the adjuster needs to receive a report every 45 days certifying your benefits. And if they don't receive that report for whatever reason, they are well within their rights to stop those benefits. Correct, Alex?
That's correct. You need to have reporting every 45 days from your primary treating physician. So just, if your doctor's not going to see you every 45 days, you got to be very aware of this time frame.
Right.
So if you're out there and you've been injured and you're thinking about skipping a doctor's appointment, it's probably not a good idea.
No, for that reason. Now, let's just say you're not receiving benefits, and that's not the reason you're going. We're just, following through with the claim and going to appointments. You might not be receiving benefits. You're saying, well, if my benefits aren't going to be cut off, then it doesn't really matter. Wrong, because another repercussion to not going to your doctor's appointments is that your doctor could stop you from, they could drop you from treatment, right? Mm-hmm. So it took us this long to get you a doctor, to find you a doctor. The doctor's giving you treatment and providing valuable reports. If you don't go to your doctor's appointments, that doctor is missing out on payment, on a patient, and he's not giving treatment to somebody that might need the treatment badly. So he's taking time out to schedule you in for an appointment. That means he's not treating someone else. And if you miss enough appointments, and it could just be one or two, and it has happened to many clients before that have missed appointments, the doctor can say, I am no longer going to see this patient. And that puts us in a difficult position because now we have to find a new doctor for you. And we already talked about how long it could take to find a new doctor. So you could lose your doctor, you could lose your benefits, and this could greatly affect your claim. Those are reasons you don't want to miss appointments, Alex.
You don't want to get an administrative discharge from your primary treating physician because you need those reports to prove that you're injured.
Yeah.
And that you are receiving, care, and that you're entitled to maybe temporary disability benefits, or that you have work restrictions that your employer is accommodating. Every 45 days is the reporting requirement. So it's important that if you eventually get a doctor's appointment under workers' compensation to go. I mean, a lot of people, it takes forever to get doctor's appointments. Then I have other clients who get them right away, and then they just decide not to show up.
That's crazy.
So, hey, if you want benefits from the system, you got to go to the doctor's appointments. If you don't go to the doctor's appointments, it's your own responsibility. You'll lose out on benefits if you don't do it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, Alex. It's your responsibility. If for some reason you need to reschedule, please be clear with the doctor's office and reschedule. If for some reason they don't call you back, which happens a lot, doctor's offices get busy and they don't call back, please don't just not do anything and say, well, they never called me back. I get that a lot. Oh, well, they just didn't call me back. Keep on calling until you get that appointment. Don't let yourself be without a doctor because you didn't go to appointments. It's going to put you in a very difficult situation. And, it could be an issue to where it might take all the value out of your claim. And your attorney might be in a position to where they might say, hey, if this person is not taking this claim seriously, then maybe there's only so much I can do for them. So you got to help out yourself. You got to help out your claim, and you got to do your part in order for your workers' compensation claim to be a successful one, right?
Yeah, if you're not, if you have the opportunity to go to the doctor, you should go to the doctor. If you're not injured, you're probably not going to go to the doctor. No one's going to take you seriously. But you might be being discharged and you are injured and you're just being discharged administratively because the doctor left the medical provider network, right, or you didn't show up to an appointment. It's time to call the injury helpline 844-984-8414 and get legal advice, because there might be continuity of care issues. Okay, you might need another treating physician. We discussed in prior episodes on this channel how hard it is to find a primary treating physician for a specialty if you've already had a surgery. Right. So if you're already had a surgery, it might be hard for the surgeon to administratively discharge you because they do have continuity of care responsibilities. But the primary care physician could be kicked out of the medical provider network. When I say kicked out, I mean they may be left voluntarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that they did something wrong, but it does happen. So if you are out there and you think you're going to be missing appointments beyond your control, you better know your rights. You better seek attorney advice.
Yeah, and doctors do have a responsibility, but I have seen it, Alex, and I don't know if you've seen the situation before, is where a doctor after a surgery, he requires the patient to do certain things, and those things aren't being done. And at this point, he's all like, you know what, I'm going to wash my hands of this because I have a certain reputation and I give my clients a certain treatment, but if they're not going to comply and they're not going to perform in their own treatment, I can't be held responsible for the results. So they want you to go seek another doctor out. I have had that happen. How about yourself?
Yeah, a doctor could say, hey, I'm not going to be responsible for the lack of care that my own patient is providing to himself.
Right.
It can have other implications too if you're not going to the doctor. For example, like let's say you think you still need medical care, but you just stop going to the doctor, and then eventually you show up at a qualified medical evaluation, which we've discussed previously on this channel. But the doctor who's a qualified medical evaluator sees that you haven't been treating at all.
Right.
They might say, oh man, hasn't had any treatment. I really need this. I really think this person should have A, B, C, D, whatever. But maybe they say, oh, they don't really need anything. They're fine.
Yeah.
No MRIs are done because they never showed up to the MRI. They must not need an MRI. I'm not going to order it. So suddenly your second opinion qualified medical evaluation gets messed up because you weren't going to the doctor when you were supposed to be. So it's not just about temporary disability benefits. It's not just about your health. It's about the overall value of your case.
Yeah. Well said.
So I think that concludes our discussion for the 35th episode of the Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer Livestream Podcast.
I think so.
And we encourage our viewers to understand that it's general in nature only. It's general information. Our discussions are not legal advice. If you need legal advice, you need to contact a California workers' compensation lawyer. You can reach our injury helpline at 844-984-8414. You can visit our website at www.workerscomplawyerinc.com.